Good evening. My name is JP Harlick. I'm a lieutenant with the Houston Police Department. This evening at approximately 9:50, units were dispatched out here to 404 Oxford regarding a shooting.
I remember the first time we met, face to face. Kiss on my neck, how could I forget something that hasn't happened yet? I'm wasting my time, losing my mind over all this wasted time.
They found that there had been a domestic disturbance between a male and a female, unknown exactly what their connection is at this time. And at this time, we know who the suspect is, and we have units actively searching for him.
I know I'm patient, but baby, give me a chance. I'll do whatever you say. I can't afford to cry anymore. Tears are turning to all my fears. I want you here with me.
241. You just cancel 2 out of 18 on the unknown trouble. It's going to be a business dispute.
If you were given one wish in this world, just one, what would be one of the things that you would wish for? I know if you truly could wish for something and receive it in that moment, our heads would probably, spin rapidly. We wouldn't know what to wish for. Some would wish for riches. Someone lonely might wish for a companion. Someone who lost a loved one might wish for that person back. If I had one wish, I would probably wish that there was no violence in the world. We often hear about the word utopia. Utopia is basically a world where everyone lives in peace, harmony, everyone can get along. What would that bring to this world? Do you think that this world could actually function in a utopia where everyone gets along, everyone is happy, there's no crying? Everyone is in this world and everyone is enjoying their life. Being a victim of a crime or a family member that was a victim of a crime it's a heartbreaking thing. But it's especially heartbreaking if that victim was young. A lot of things happen to people in this day and age, but when it happens to someone young, it tends to mold society in a different way. We live in a day and age where humans have to constantly glance over their shoulder and make sure no one's trying to harm you. It's hard to trust people because the truth is, we are the only inhabitants of this land who do violence for nothing, for fun, for personal gain. No other inhabitant of this land takes place in this, and it's sad. And after this story, you'll begin to think too. And you'll begin to realize that a perfect utopia will never exist.
Houston, Texas. Population 6,603,000 people. The city of Houston is known for a lot of things, such as the Johnson Space Station, the official center of NASA. It's also known for the Galleria Mall. From great places to beautiful people with Southern hospitality, the city has a lot to offer. But it was also home to a beautiful angel, a girl who went by the name of Khylie Sorrells. Khylie was a ball of energy. She loved to dance, sing. Anything that a young girl her age does, that's what she did. She was brought into this world by her mother, a woman who goes by the name of Khylie Sorrells. She also had 2 siblings, 2 sisters. Her and her 2 sisters were very close. Khylie enjoyed doing TikTok videos. She even dabbled in basketball, but not just dabbled. She was an MVP player. She excelled at the game, but she also loved to play it. Her mother, Khylie Sorrells, would live her life raising her daughters, and down that path, she would meet a man who goes by the name of Jeremiah Jones. Now, this relationship was tumultuous, at the least. It wasn't a very healthy relationship. Some might even refer to it as toxic. She would continue on with this up and down relationship with this boyfriend until she finally had enough. And then she would finally cut things off. This would be the year of 2022. In the year of 2022, Khylie would be 9 years old. The month would be June 13th to be exact, just weeks short of Khylie's 10th birthday. Now, on June 13th of 2022, this family's life would take a turn for the worse. Now, after repeated arguments between Jeremiah Jones and Brittany Sorrells, Jeremiah Jones would decide to come over her house. Now, when he gets there, he turns the knob and he walks in immediately. Now, mind you, Jeremiah is not living at the residence at this time. Him and Brittany have broken up. But on June 13th of 2022, Brittany's cousin was at the house and she was in and out all day. I guess she must have either left or came back, and she left the door open. So he turns the knob and he walks straight in. He begins arguing with the mother. Brittany alleges that on this day, Jeremiah Jones came over to the house and he was accusing her of talking to other men. He was trying to go through her phone, etc. They argue back and forth a minute, and then he begins to tear up things in the house. He even rips off a TV on the wall, saying that it's his TV and he's taking it with him. Now, after this argument takes place, Jeremiah Jones does not leave the residence. Brittany Sorrells alleges that is when he walked into the back room where Khylie and her two sisters were watching TV, and then he would do the unthinkable.
Anger growing over the senseless shooting of a 9-year-old girl. And tonight, court records show prosecutors tried to keep the accused killer locked up, but a judge granted bond. ABC 13 reporter Shelley Childers live now to explain more for us. Shelley?
Gina, the Houston Police Department calls 9-year-old Khylie Sorrells one of their own. She was a member of the Greater Houston Police Activities League, and now the police union is speaking out, angered that the accused killer was able to rack up case after case and was still granted bond after bond after bond. In fact, allegedly shooting this little girl in the head less than 2 weeks after his most recent jail stint. Khylie Sorrells shot and killed at just 9 years old inside her mother's apartment Monday night.
I cannot fathom why some animal would do that to a child.
Doug Griffith with the Houston Police Officers Union not mincing words for Jeremiah Jones. The 22-year-old accused killer also shot and injured Khylie's mother, his ex-girlfriend. Court records show he had just bonded out of jail June 1st for charges of evading police, making a terroristic threat, and violating a protective order. Prosecutors requested bond be denied, but a judge granting bonds totaling $45,000. Jones was already out on bond for felon in possession of a firearm and burglary of a habitation when he was granted these 3 new bonds June 1st. Griffith believes the Harris County court system failed this 9-year-old innocent child who loved playing for the Police Activities League.
So after Jeremiah Jones completes this act, he is now a wanted fugitive. The police have contacted Brittany Sorrells and they know the whole story. So they begin a nationwide manhunt for Jeremiah. Now, why Jeremiah is on the run? He decides to contact the news himself because he alleges that different events took place and he was never there. Here's what Jeremiah Jones had to say about this encounter.
Jeremiah, let me ask you, did you shoot your ex and her 9-year-old daughter?
No, ma'am.
As a manhunt is underway for 22-year-old Jeremiah Jones, he spoke with me on Zoom telling me he wasn't there at his ex-girlfriend's apartment and saying he did not do it. But why would his ex-girlfriend tell police he's the one who opened fire on her and her daughter?
Honestly, ma'am, I really don't know. I'm just trying to get all of this resolved. I'm trying to, because I was at a gas station on camera minutes before they say, within probably like 15 to 20 minutes before they even said that this happened.
He says he's going to turn himself in.
I have no reason to hide. I'm going to turn myself in. I just want my lawyer to get all the proper documents.
Now, once Jeremiah Jones released this interview, people went crazy. The bloggers were blogging on the sites, and I remember reading different things. Now, when it comes to this situation, and Jeremiah contacting the news himself to say that he's innocent, this really caused a ripple in the investigation because people were coming out basically saying that, they believe him. They believe every word he said and that They believe he's innocent because of the simple fact that there are a lot of holes in this story. Now, one of the key factors in this case is that when he went inside of that room, he only decided to harm Khylie. The two other girls were never hurt. He did nothing to them. He simply ended Kylie's life, and then he wounded the mother inside of her shoulder, and then he leaves the residence. Now, this is what the mother alleges. Now, a few days after he was on the run, Jeremiah Jones would be captured. He would be taken into police custody, and he is currently being held on capital murder. Now, at this point, I know a lot of people are probably wondering where's the biological father and where he's at. Now, after speaking to family and friends, nobody really wants to speak on this guy, so I decided to just essentially cut him out of the story. You know, they've deemed him as irrelevant, so I'm gonna look at him as the same. I do want to know you guys' thoughts. How do you feel about the situation? I want to know, do you think that there are holes in the story? What are your thoughts? And no matter what your thoughts are, please relay them in the comments, because, you know, I don't erase messages because you have your own personal opinion. Everyone will think different about this case. Now, me personally, I'm going to keep my thoughts to myself because, you know, the truth of the matter is, I know a little bit more about this case than I'm actually going to release, because when I did speak to the family and friends, you know, nobody wants the information that they gave me to be actually put out to the public. They said, you know, they'll basically tell me what's going on, but they don't want me to say it in the video, so I have to respect that. But I will say, pay very close attention to this case. If they air the trial on TV, make sure you watch it. Keep up with the headlines, because this is truly a story that has a lot of twists and turns, and you know, you're gonna want to know this information. So be on the lookout for any information that you might actually run across. I'll do my best to keep you guys updated on what's going on with the case. I will be doing a follow-up sometime in the near future.
This story truly has a heartbreaking outcome. Khylie was just days short of her 10-year-old birthday. And, you know, for her to be taken out of this world, allegedly, by a boyfriend, you know, that just couldn't take the fact that the mother wasn't with him anymore, is truly heinous. It's sickening. It's something that no one in this world should have to go through. In the beginning of this video, I mentioned that people wish for something called a utopia, a land of peace. But the fact of the matter is, that'll never exist. Because if we didn't have the word evil, the word good wouldn't exist. There will always be people out here willing to do heinous things. There will always be people out here willing to bend the rules of society for their own personal gain. It's sad. There are a lot of reasons for why I do these stories. And one of those reasons is because, in a sense, I see myself immortalizing every victim. You know, we have all heard the saying that nothing that's put on the internet is truly ever deleted. It's gonna lay somewhere on some other site. Even some of the videos that I've done in the past and I've deleted from YouTube, I can Google videos and go to these other sites, and they're on other sites. So even if for some specific reason YouTube shuts down and it doesn't exist anymore, all of these victim stories will still lay somewhere on the internet. Someone will still be able to click on a website and hear about the victim. And, you know, it brings me a sense of comfort. Sometimes when I do these cases, you know, I'm reading the comments and I'll get comments, why didn't you add this? Why didn't you add that detail? And the answer is simple. I don't add those details because family has asked me not to. I want you to realize that whenever I do these stories and I put these videos up, there's always family incorporated in the mix of that video. I don't just go and Google and put the video up. That's not how I operate. I'm always talking to grieving family members, grieving best friends. These people are hurt. So sometimes I leave out certain details of the case because the family has asked me to, and I can't do anything but respect it. I try to be as respectful as I possibly can, because I know when I put this video up, family is gonna see it. They're gonna view this, and the last thing I wanna do is trigger an effect because I wanna put in gruesome details. I'm not gonna do it. So I'll be honest with you. This whole telling the whole story about the offender, that's a train I'm not jumping on. So for everyone who leave comments in the comment section about why didn't you say this and why didn't you say that, go find another channel. I promise you, because if that's what you're looking for, I'm gonna waste your time every time. I'm not after that. I'm not. Whenever I approach these stores and I'm approaching the family, the first thing I message them is, first and foremost, I give my condolences. And then I let them know in the same breath that I'm not here to ask you about what happened. I'm not here to ask you about the offender. The only person that I care about is the victim. That's it. I'm not here to try to make you relive the circumstances or relive what happened on that day, because me personally, I could care less. I'm only here for the fallen. That's it. So if you have a problem with that, find another channel. Rest in peace, Khylie Sorrells. Your legacy will forever live on.